Hey, we're live. And check out my shirt.
Right.
Look at my green shirt.
He's just a hat and a tie.
Nice, man, that looks awesome.
Is this awesome?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
What the hell?
That looks great.
Welcome to Off the Rails, episode 49 of our second season, our first ever 49th episode. We're here. We got Mama Missy in the house. She's going to be doing a little something. We got Steve here from Pet Engine.
Hello.
Hey, Steve. Yeah.
Good morning. Afternoon.
Hey, I didn't get any excitement out of Molly.
Hey.
Woohoo!
Watch
I'm doing
your ass.
things.
I was doing
Watch
nice.
your ass. I should put this on and let's do a bad joke monologue. Put on halfway. Bad joke monologue. All right. Millions of giant rats are starving and setting to invade British homes. After they see what the British eat, we'll be left with millions of pissed off giant starving rats. All right. Cremated. What is Alex Trebek?
Oh,
Relax. All right. Ken Jennings is taking over for Trebek and is already in trouble for his tweet quoting, "There is nothing sadder than a hot person in a wheelchair."
I don't know what that means.
Who wants to help me put Ken in his next year's Professor X costume for Halloween with me? He's in a wheelchair, William.
Ken Jennings is?
ba-dum-bum.
I watched the Stephen Hawking movie last night, actually.
All right.
Speaking of wheelchairs.
All right. Turns out that certain olive oils in your local grocery stores fund Syrian warlords. We all should have known it was a scam because there's no such thing as extra virgin. You just got
How many they get?
really ugly olives. Oh, we'll see how this one goes. All right. An Irish middle school sent a letter home asking parents not to allow their girls to wear leggings because it distracts the male teachers. And a follow-up email was sent saying that the girls could wear leggings once they sprout boobs, so all the pedophile teachers are no longer interested.
Oh.
See, the problem solves itself. All right, here's something that'll chap your asses. Networks have been recognizing Paul Blart as a Thanksgiving movie. If that wasn't bad enough, remember that Paul Blart got a sequel this year.
Oh.
I'm lost.
Molly
It was
doesn't
a
even
terrible
have the
movie.
slow rim shot. That's just a.
Oh,
I
rim
just
one?
created a funeral in this room. All right. Study finds that copper TT monkeys are the most loyal animal on the planet and have yet to find DNA evidence of infidelity. These loyal little pricks are making us look bad. Molly accused me of cheating, and I told her she is sounding a lot like my wife.
Did you throw your feces at her?
I do that all the time.
All right, with the lockdown happening, pregnancy is down, except who should we make fun of this week? What should we do? Except in
Dead babies.
Libya. Libya gets the incest joke.
Libyans?
Libyans. All right.
Libyans?
Scotland becomes the first nation to make period products free for women.
All right. Woo.
I swear you broads have it so easy.
Should I hit him over here?
Yes, hit him.
Speaking of that, this Monday is the full beaver moon rising at 4:30 a.m. In order to see it, you have to view it from behind.
Hi.
All right. Hulk Hogan says Chris Hemsworth has the body to play him, but is he good looking enough? You got the white Fu Manchu, bald mullet, and the skin of a hot dog. I think Chris Hemsworth has it covered, old sir. Paul McCartney admits that he forgets his own Beatles lyrics while performing. Can anyone else recognize a cry for help? He just wants to be an old man. Stop putting him out there. He wears a bracelet with his own address. Come to think of it, William, why don't you just sit over there on the couch and lay down a bit?
Well,
You can come on over here. All right, we'll do this one. And another new study shows that drinking hot cocoa makes you smarter. So if you don't think these jokes are funny, put down the cave paint and grab a cup of Swiss Miss and rewatch this monologue.
Very nice.
You see, Molly, I'm not unfunny. You're just dumb.
Oh, I just need more hot chocolate.
Like,
Conan.
you need to date a black man? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh boy.
No, brown sugar is the other way around. I think hot chocolate is if you were.
You know what, William?
Stay away from my
How
husband.
about you just do it? My Conan O'Brien.
You mean the sleeper cell in the studio today?
Come on. Do the Conan O'Brien.
All right, Conan O'Brien is ending his 3-decade run as late night talk show host. With a job opening up, I want to say, see you later, fuckers. I'm off to Hollywood. I got the keys right here. William, you want to lock up when you're done? All right. Hold on, I'm getting a message here. This is TBS. I bet they're flying me first class in the front row. You know what? I've decided I'm going to stick around and do this show more. So, all right.
Brave
William.
decision, man. Very loyal.
All right. So we do agree not to talk about politics or religion, but I do have to mention that the election's over and people want to just like, hey, let's all get together, and that's never gonna fucking happen. And we won't get together until some blood is shed and someone has to die. And that someone is Uncle Sam. How the hell can we treat each other like brothers and sisters when all we are is cousins? I want you to go to war and fight for your uncle? Fuck that. Look, this country needs a mother to bring us together. If you offend my mother, you have problems. But you could beat the crap out of my uncle, I'd probably join you. I only tolerate him because he's the brother of my dear sweet mother. He's an obnoxious jerk who mispronounces words on purpose. He gave me a hard time because I was driving a Toyota. He said he would never drive a Japanese car because he's a veteran. In the war, he fought in Italy, and he drives a Pontiac. So he's had the same Pontiac for 25 years. He's only had to replace the battery and the radiator. I was just, what kind of Pontiac you drive? A Grand Prix. So we need a mother to bring us together. And I say that we take a big old apron and stick it on the Statue of Liberty, take that torch out of hand and put a spatula. I'll fight for that bitch. Sure, she's from France. She's probably a little stinky, but she's Ma. Let's just fucking put Ma. I'll fight for her. That's it. And then listen, now look, I'm a guy of a certain age, and I'm trying to be a little more woke these days. And I mean, look, for years I resisted it because I found it to be kind of offensive grammatically. I'm woke. No, man. If you're awake, I'm listening. If you have awakened, I'm with you. But woke? Yeah, well, I'm trying to be a little more woke. I'm trying to use the proper pronouns. So with that in mind, I wrote a joke. I hope you won't be offended. But so this is using proper pronouns. I have a dog who was born a male. And I say that because he does not lift his leg when he pees. Maybe 10% of the time he'll lift his leg. He's fluid with his fluids. And that's okay, because he's a good they. Who's a good they? Them's a good they. Look at you being all they with them. I did that to my dog, and he loved it because it's tone. Dogs go by tone. He don't know what the fuck I'm saying. Dogs go by tone, and it's the tone that you speak to them. Dogs don't pick up on sarcasm, trust me. Cats are sarcastic. That's it for me. Thank you.
All right, William. Woo! Let's get this show started.
Hello, universe. Welcome to Off the Rails with Tom and Mark.
All right, well, William, thank you very much. Thank you, Steve, for being here. We're here with Steve.
My pleasure.
Steve Ziel?
Yep.
From Pet Engine. Pet Engine, we've been calling it.
Pet like a dog, engine like a car. That's the best way.
Oh, that's awesome. Today we got Mama Missy over there. She's going to be joining us to talk about her podcast coming up. Mama Missy, all right. We're going to be talking about Pet Engine's new project they're working on, and I'll try not to get the spit all the way over to you that I just did there.
I didn't see it, so
That's
I'll
okay.
start dodging it.
All right, but first thing, what do we like to do, Mao? You can
The hot seat?
thank. Oh, are you sure? Is that a question?
No.
We'll answer it.
Wow, yeah! It's the hot seat! Hot seat! Off the rails!
All right, Molly. Hey, Molly, why don't you bring up my girl real quick and let everybody know what they should do before we get into the hot seat? Oh, man, there she is. Hey, if you're enjoying this, like and share. You're the only way we can grow, universe. So, all right, hot seat. Everybody jump in whenever you feel the need. But, Steve, for the...
Is this not the morning blend? I thought I was going on the morning blend.
Yeah, we
Why
put
did you
on
lie to me?
We'll blend it.
I had him tricked.
Well, for the rest of the day, you cannot die. So what's the rest of your day going to look like?
Am I supposed to be funny or just be honest?
Be honest. Go
I'm
ahead.
going to just go hang out with my kids.
You're going to waste it? Nothing?
No waste. Yeah. I'll drink the most expensive wine that we have and smoke all the weed that I have.
Yeah, but the repercussions carry over. You're still out that wine. You're just not
No,
dead.
that's fine.
And hung over the next day.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Not if it's good wine. You'd be good.
What if I give
No.
you a week
I'll
of
drink the
prep?
expensive- A week
There
of
you go.
prep.
A week of prep where you can be like, all right, news crews, I'm going to jump off the Empire State Building and get up and walk away. Like make some money or something.
If I were to be able to, I'm sorry, I'm missing
You
the
can't
premise.
die.
You can't die.
But next Saturday, you can't die.
Next Saturday, I can't die.
Next Saturday, you can't die.
So just basically, what's my dream to?
Like what would you do if nothing can kill you?
Nothing can kill me. I don't know. That's a tough question. I would probably.
We ask the tough questions here.
No, I know.
On the morning blend.
I don't know. If I had all the money in the world, I would just go. I think if I was going to die, I think because I do think about that often. Unfortunately.
What would you do if you're not going to die?
Well, it's the same.
Okay.
premise, isn't it? I don't know. I would probably just play as much music as possible. Try to document as much as I can.
You wouldn't jump out in front of a bus
And,
just to freak someone out.
on the way to the porn shoot, probably. Yeah.
You can't die. You're still taking that home. It's not Vegas.
I'm gonna just try all that kind of stuff. I've never been with a guy before, so
Okay. No one said it's the opposite. You're not dying.
I know I'm missing the premise.
You're not. If I shoot you in the face, you're just gonna laugh at me. You're not gonna die. You don't have sex with a man. You don't have to.
I just want to do gay porn. Whatever. So
Whatever. That's the
whatever
answer for the
question-
rest of the.
whatever the question is.
Doesn't matter if you haven't picked it up. Doesn't matter if he's going to die. He just wants to.
I just want to do gay porn.
It's going to have to be amateur gay porn because you've never done it before. So
Yeah, you're not going to the big leagues. You got to
You're not
work
going
up
to the
the
big leagues.
but if-
the minor leagues
But,
first.
but if he's got like a week of league time, it'd be professional within a week, right? I mean,
Perhaps.
how hard is it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I've
I kind of want to find out now.
I've never sucked a dick before, but I think that having watched a lot of training videos about it and had it done,
You'd probably be good at it?
I'd be okay with it. Yeah.
I'm an athlete. I know I'd be good at it.
Well, I had this bartender used to work for me. He is a gay man actor. He was actually married to a Milwaukee detective, and they were big, apparently cokeheads, because that's what somebody told me. Like, keep an eye on that guy. Whatever. So I was giving him a ride home, and he was wasted, and he's just like, "Hey, Steve, just so you know, like, I would totally suck your dick if you want me." And I was just like, "I'm good. I'm fine." So we get to his house, and he's like, "Seriously, like, I would totally suck your dick." And I was like, I can't remember his name. It's like, Bill. I'm like, I've never had the urge to have another guy do that to me, but I promise you, if that day comes, you will be the first person I'll call.
There you go.
that's
And
really
he
nice.
left out. And they got on. I was trying to get him out of my car.
Uh-huh.
How can I pay him a compliment and yet move on with?
Well,
my
you got to
day?
come up to him one day and be like, "Hey, I'm not going to die next Saturday. So is that offer still on the table?"
Exactly right. Doesn't have to be on the table. Do it anywhere, I guess. Unless you're speaking metaphor.
What's something you don't mind waiting for?
I've gotten a lot more patience because I used to be incredibly impatient with stuff. Don't mind waiting for my food at a restaurant
Okay.
because I've worked in hospitality for a long time. So the most understanding, like punch me in the face and I'll still like pay for my
Okay.
food. And yeah, it's probably, I don't mind waiting for.
I don't mind waiting for Molly to get home from work.
Yeah.
She's running a little late. I get a couple extra minutes.
I thought you were talking like Molly, the drug.
No, we got a Molly over there.
She is the
let's
drug.
let's speak about the millennials. Like, so I worked in hospitality, so I still have connection to all the younger people. And they're like, dude, we're doing Molly at this festival. I'm just like, get your own fucking drugs, okay? All it is ecstasy in powder form.
Exactly.
Like, why don't you invent something new? Like, and then
That's
they're like,
all it is.
Yeah.
that's all it is, yeah.
Learn
they were
something every day.
Well, they were like all in the ketamine, and I'm like, isn't that like horse tranquilizer?
Yep.
So I asked this guy, I'm like, you're at this festival, like, you did a bunch of ketamine. How do you feel? He's like, it's like you're drunk, but you're not. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense to me. But apparently, it's fun. And the Wolf of Wall Street, I think that's what they're on as well too. Like,
Yeah.
Quaaludes.
You know, I did some with some friends at a Mardi Gras down in New Orleans, and I'm standing in a bar, and this girl, and I was wearing shorts. She had really long hair,
Mhm.
and her hair was just brushing up against my calves. It was the greatest feeling.
Is this MDMA
just-
or is this like?
It was the ketamine.
Oh, ketamine, yeah.
It felt amazing.
That's what Keith Moon passed out. He took too much of it right before their show and like their opening date of like their 1973 tour. And the guy from the audience had to come on and play the set for him. He's like, there's a video of him just like completely fucking passed out.
Well, you know, I did before it was Molly, when it was ecstasy.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm in a bar with this girl who I just had no inhibitions, and she walked by, took her out on the dance floor, and we were just having a great time. And she said to me, she goes, "You're hot," and I'm like, "Thanks." She goes, "No, you're burning up. Your temperature is hot."
I never understood electronic music until, I mean, unfortunately, which I found, because I didn't smoke pot until I was in my 20s and never liked the Grateful Dead. I never got jam band music at all. I was like, who could listen to it? Because I've never been stoned. I tried when I was in high school. I couldn't get it. So I was in a bar the first time, and this band was playing a Grateful Dead song, and I get it. And the same thing with ecstasy. I mean, I was like, why would anyone want to? I was on the dance floor. It felt like 5 minutes, and it was 4 fucking.
You're feeling it.
That's
But I
an
have
aerobic workout.
Oh, it was
Yeah,
insane.
yeah.
Because I'm Catholic, I would always, when I would do crazy nights like that, which weren't that many, but like I would, because I had to like, the reward had to fit like some sort of punishment or some sort.
Absolutely.
So I would like schedule like, we're gonna like go out and do ecstasy and dance and get wasted, and then the next day we're gonna insulate the attic or something like that. Because I had to like,
Gotta balance it out.
but I have like low serotonin to begin with. Like I'm borderline depressive always. So those drugs, like I can't, the fun outweighs the next 2 days. I'm just like,
yeah,
just
the come down
cannot.
was terrible.
Ron
Well,
says
you're-
now he wants Ludes and Coke.
There's not,
And Patrick says that
that's
they
what
were
I-
on Ludes and Coke and Wolf of Wall Street also.
if
crack.
I wasn't
Yeah.
gonna die, I would probably try a couple of different drugs.
Absolutely.
I've never done LSD and stuff like that. And, like,
No.
But it's just it's so hard. Like the recovery process, you're basically just releasing all of your serotonin at once, and you feel fantastic. But the next, for me, I don't recover like Al, our guitar player. When we would party, the next day he'd be like, "I'm a little tired, but I'm fine." And I'm just like, "I didn't wait, you know, and I'm a bad person, and like I'm sad." Called my doctor once. He's like, "Dude, what's going on?" I just got back from Vegas, and I think I'm dying. And he's just like, "Call me back tomorrow." And I was calling back tomorrow. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, it's good." yeah. I just they kind of figured that. I'm like, "Oh, it's all right."
That would be $60.
Exactly. Right. So,
Is it appropriate to kick someone else's snow wedge? You know, the build up between the flap and the tire
Oh,
in the snow,
totally.
and you
Yeah.
see someone else's. It kind of
It's paying it forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're doing a favor. You're not damaging anything.
can
Unless they're like mad because they wanted to kick the snow wedge.
And it's fun. It keeps the kids bird. I just tell them to go in the hot parking lot and just start kicking the cars. They come back tired.
wow.
For you.
I'm going into Target. You guys stay here in the parking lot and start kicking snow
See?
wedges.
Yeah, you're
I'll be
good
back
at
in
it.
2 hours.
Well, that means like, what's the commercials where they have the parents like don't become your parents? That
Yeah.
would be one of them. Can you kick it? Don't. That's not your stomach. Don't kick it.
No, they're looking forward to that when they come out. They didn't
Exactly.
see it leaving the car, but when you come back, you're like, son of a bitch.
I'm coming back and I see one and I'm like, you missed one. You missed
You
one. Now
missed
you're
one.
not going to
Yeah.
sleep for that extra half
But
hour.
can you
You look really
kick
familiar
someone
to me.
else's?
I don't know if I've waited on you before or something.
Where did you work?
Well, I worked in Cedarburg. That's what I'm saying. I had Brandywine for.
All
like,
right. You have been dating someone for a month and they give you a thumb ring. What do you do?
my god.
Always with the thumb ring. You liked that ring.
She gave me a
I
thumb
know.
ring. We
It's
were
a
dating a
personal
month.
I was gonna say
I didn't know how to-
It was a
story.
fidget spinner.
No, it wasn't.
Yes,
It was a
was.
ring that spun.
It was a spinner.
You gave me a thumb ring
That's-
after a
I
month.
think
That's
that's,
like
sweet.
promise.
Now I got to wear a thumb ring around my family?
No, I just think it's sweet.
Well, it depends. Is this the day where I'm allowed to do as many drugs as I want?
There you go. Everything's
Hey,
perfect.
yeah,
Right.
man.
Yeah, I mean then that'd be like, hell yeah, give me that. Give me the thumb ring.
No.
Maybe
Somebody-
she was checking
I mean,
your
if it's just a
dexterity.
ring, it's a ring. But if it's like for a purpose or like stupid promise rings, if you're not in middle school or high school, don't give somebody a ring.
So when I gave my wife a promise ring for our engagement, that was wrong.
So
Yeah.
here's the backstory. We had gone to the Renaissance Fair, and I had one of those spinner rings.
Were you dressed in costumes for this one?
I do have
Molly
costumes. Yes.
does, yeah.
Yeah.
Like what kind of?
We were nerding out.
I've got a dress and a corset.
Okay.
Nice.
She doesn't have to tie the corset.
Nice.
I mean, no, shut up.
I love that.
But I
She's
had
the
a
only
spinner
chick
ring
at the Renaissance Fair without cleavage.
that
Checking
he
out.
liked playing with and
I love
fidgeting
that
with.
iron board.
So I bought him one. It was just a nice little thumb spinner ring. You just fidget
Yeah.
I
with.
think it's
Well, that was just
sweet.
a present. That wasn't like you.
I had
saying,
to
No,
wear
it's
it
not, it wasn't
then.
a promise ring.
Sitting in a junk drawer
Hey, will
somewhere
you
now.
marry me with this
Why do
thumb
you
ring?
have to keep dredging that shit up? How
I
long
got
ago
you,
was
Tom.
that?
I got you.
How long ago was that? He's going to turn
10
11
years?
yeah.
He's
11
gonna turn-
years?
11 years and you turn.
I want to know what you would do if a girl gave you a thumb ring. You wearing it? You rocking it?
Probably. I mean, I don't know. I never really wear jewelry, so I'd probably try it. Try to use it as a cock ring.
Could you?
But yeah, Ron says, why not a cock ring?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, could you incorporate the thumb ring into your gay porn
Yeah,
career?
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be like your trademark symbol, like where you're.
Exactly. Thumb ring.
Or maybe
Greg.
for,
You judge it
I need-
afterwards with the thumb ring
well,
thumb.
for the music too, you might be able to do something special with it.
Yeah.
Especially if it's got a fidget spinner, it might be able to give you a good sound.
You
Can you
stick that right up
really?
a butthole. I mean, come on.
That's how you calibrate the anus. Find out what size it is.
Dual purpose.
That's really what she wanted you to do. 11 years later, you still haven't caught on.
Hey, it was a
No.
test and you failed.
All right, it's in the junk drawer. We'll get it out tonight. If it still spins, I played volleyball with it on, and it like.
Speaking of buttholes, you guys ever had hemorrhoids
Yes.
I had a
I-
boil
For
that I
children.
thought was a
I
hemorrhoid.
have 4 children.
before?
So,
You had
yeah.
one? Oh, there you go.
It's a hemorrhoid coming.
Mine were internal.
Is that still a hemorrhoid?
Let's
look it up. Do you have a Latin
it
dictionary?
bleeds
Or is it a
and
polyp?
it hurts and it
Yeah.
itches.
Wow.
I had my boss was
Wait.
a gay man and a cyclist at the time, and he saw me hobbling around this restaurant I was managing for him. He's just like, "Steve, what's wrong?" And I'm like, "Michael, it's really embarrassing. I'm just like, I got a hemorrhoid, and I don't know what." He's just like, "I know it sounds crazy, but you got to stick your finger up there and push it right back up in." And I was like, I can't even get like within a foot of it, and it hurts. But I got home and I did it, and it fixed it right. So
So you're
if you having hemorrhoid, find a pregnant woman, a woman who's had children, or a gay man, and they will advise you on the hemorrhoidal
It's
cure.
just
So
educational.
There you
but it's
go.
like an inflamed vein. How do you push it?
it's like
your
it-
intestines
it's
that come
I mean,
out.
it
You got
wants to
big
go back
hands
up,
too, dude.
right?
You're a champ with that.
Exactly. You
You
do the no, I mean it's like your asshole's turning inside out, basically the blood vessel. So
Okay.
if you had a different, these are like they look like fucking like
They look like
aliens.
mushrooms.
Yeah, like shrooms.
coming out of your butt.
And on the bonus show, we get rid of hemorrhoids.
All right.
Exactly.
We have people yelling at us because they're trying to eat, and
We
our
need-
show
and we
took
need
a crazy
or
left
dis-
turn.
Well, I
Disclaimer.
never saw it. I just felt uncomfortable, and the doctor told me what it was.
Yeah.
How many doctors have been in you?
More than I cared about.
Have you guys had the prostate exam yet?
I got
that's
one, but
good.
it wasn't for that.
Just for fun.
Yeah, I'm back on to my doctor.
Yeah, we had
You
a,
see, we don't have to deal with gynecologists our whole life. The first time it happens, I just remember later in the day, and I had all that Vaseline in there. I was just like, did he just use me? Like, was I even like scheduled to have one, or did he just do it?
Just
for
a
fun?
dude called you in.
I had a,
Hey,
We could make
you,
this look like
come
a
here.
doctor's office
I
any
had a
day.
female doctor, and she had fingernails.
Ooh,
It was not pleasant
My dad went to get his, and the doctor asked if it was okay if the intern came in to
to watch.
to do
test?
it, and
Oh.
it was a cute like female intern.
he had a line of people
So how much prep work do you guys do? Like
shaving or bleaching
no, I mean
or
just doing a nice
making it
clean
look
job
nice?
down there
Of
before.
course,
Yeah, you're
yeah,
going in, you know,
absolutely.
you're getting the
Baby.
exam. It's like
Yeah.
nice clean pair of underwear. You do a little cleaning, extra scrubbing down
Yeah,
I-
I want that squeaky noise when his
What
finger
did
goes
happen
in.
with this show?
I don't shower for days just so it kind of abbreviates. The
Oh,
whole thing.
no, you-
Smart.
I,
You're
I, I,
wise.
I take the other way.
You
You
don't
want the
put, like-
doctor to quit his job.
No, you're suddenly out of network. now,
Right.
so- Ah.
Like I like to schedule a follow up. I'm sorry, sir. You were
He
blacklisted.
retired.
No.
You
He hurt
retired.
his back and he got a rectal exam.
That was the
He
true
gave-
story, actually.
See, my doctor gives me the rusty trombone every time. Are you
Hey,
familiar with rusty trombone?
yes.
It is one of the most intricate, elaborate, sexual, weird, like fake thing that I won't talk about here because my parents.
You have
won't
to
give us
be
the-
on some kind of drug for that.
It's just whoever came up with it was very clever and detailed. with the
Absolutely.
rusty trombone.
You know what? We'll go on to this story because since we're on ass,
Talk about asses. and balls.
yeah, I needed your guys' opinion. Is this considered shitting your pants? Okay, my brother went deer hunting. If you have to ask, it's a yes.
Yes.
My brother went deer hunting and he was wearing his bib overalls and everything, and he had to shit in the woods. You can stop that anytime.
Rattling around over there.
Sorry.
I could hear you rummaging around over there.
Sorry.
So he pulled all his stuff down and he took a shit, but his bib overalls were in the way, so he shit into his pants.
Oh
He didn't
man.
shit his pants; he shit right into
But
them.
he still has shit his pants.
But there is no shit on his asshole. There's no shit in his underwear because
Did
those
he
go
have
over
to
the
walk
pants.
Patrick
home?
says if you have to ask, then yes.
See, I had a similar experience. Maybe I can attest to this. So this
Okay.
summer I started hiking and camping, and I read all about being in the woods. And when you got to go, you got to go. So I bought the shovel for it, and you got to dig your hole. Well,
Latrine.
right, basically, yeah. So and I the first time I tried it, it was again. This probably ties into doing gate 4, and you got to there's a sharp learning curve. So I did it, and I got a little bit on my boxers. So I literally yanked my boxers off, buried those in the woods as well. So I would have buried the overalls too. I mean,
Oh, those are hundreds of dollars. man.
Those are not cheap.
But
Those hunting
how
bits.
did he get
But
home?
you're
Did
gonna walk
he
around
have
with
to-
shit in your pants all
Yeah.
day?
Did he have
I'd
to
probably
walk
just roll 'em
home
up and-
Oh,
Yeah, he
with
roll them up.
shit in his
No, he
pants?
was in the woods. He had to drive like an hour and a half home.
The
But he still had to
overalls-
get from where he shit to his
The
truck,
overalls
right?
are normally the outer layer. You've got lots of layers
But if
on
he
when
shit
you're
them
hunting.
once he pulled them all down already, there's shit in there. Trust me.
Right.
I
I'm
think he
saying
caught it
takes the
before he-
outer layer off and roll it up, and it's not getting on anything else.
So he didn't
Yeah,
like
but what-
pull the
where did you
overalls
do
out.
the
It fell
inner
down
No,
his
he's-
back.
If you shit in them.
No, it was all
When
the
you
way
go
down, and he
hunting,
just
I'm
like
wearing
dropped there.
leggings
I
and
know.
leggings
It's a
and
rough time.
pants
We're
and
having
then
rough
overalls.
time.
conversations during the.
Yeah.
Was he in New Kids on the Block?
I'm just curious because when like
Because
my
they
kids
ruined
shit their
overalls for
pants,
a fucking generation. Like
it
I
is
like
on
overalls.
every single layer they own.
Ron says that's a real brown area.
So
Become bum.
I do have one. I
Nice.
made up. I have very few jokes that I actually made up in one of them. So, what do you call a wet fart when you're in Zurich?
In Zurich.
Yeah,
What do you call it?
a Swiss chard. Which is also leafy green. That might actually make you more prone to shitting your pants. 'cause it just brings about.
Circle,
wow.
circle of life.
Where do we go from there?
Up. Let's go up.
Let's go up. Do condiments go on a chili dog?
Hell yeah.
no.
Yes.
gotta know.
Mustard and onions.
Is this the sex
Maybe.
move or the actual? chili dog?
Actual chili dog.
Onions, chili.
Onions,
Onions.
mustard, maybe some relish. Sometimes I'll put relish
On a
it.
chili dog?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Cheese.
Give it a little sweetness. A little cheese too.
I would more
Cheese,
go
I'll
with
do
the
cheese.
chili condiments if it was me. I'd go like sour cream, onions, and cheese,
Okay.
Tabasco.
Crushed up goldfish.
Goldfish.
I
Great.
never had
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we put goldfish
Never-
in our chili all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I just tried that for the first time last week. It was as advertised.
Yep.
Very
Yes.
good.
I put
The
ketchup
crackers,
and
right?
mustard.
Yeah.
Ketchup
call
and
me?
mustard on my chili dog.
Where do you guys get chili dogs?
We make our own chili and
Do
make
you?
our own dogs.
Nice.
Homemade dogs. There
That's
you go.
what we do with the leftover
We-
chili. You got to.
We have a restaurant that we go to.
For chili dogs.
For chili
Nice. All right. How many towels should a person own?
How many people are in the house?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
exactly.
A person
A person.
So per person.
per
Four.
person. Four towels.
I would absolutely say 4.
2.
If you're my brother and you're in college, you'll only own one.
1.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I say
What,
4.
how often do you wash a towel?
It's like the sheets. It's
Once
like
a week. Once a week.
Peralta on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He called it. It was like he had one towel at his place. But it
Wait.
stood up basically. But that was a great analogy. That
We've-
show's fucking hilarious.
We've got lots of controversy on the condiments with the hot dogs.
Uh-oh.
And Michael Gull says only a sociopath would put relish on a chili dog.
Relish.
He's
No
right.
argument.
He's right.
Mustard, at least, says Patrick. Ron says he puts antacid on
Ooh, no
his.
ketchup on a hot dog
No
altogether.
Ooh, no, that's Wisconsin. They put a lot of ketchup
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
hot dogs.
That's
man.
South. Illinois doesn't. They don't fuck with ketchup.
And that's why
Oh,
they're
that
bankrupt.
Chicago dog's pretty good though.
It is pretty good. But they got the tomato on there.
The
So
tomato. They got
just
a pickle,
almost ketchup.
a pickle spear,
The peppercini.
Celery salt.
the celery salt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the peppercini. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sport peppers some places too, which are weird.
all right, I'm gonna bring this up for you guys. Is this a food crime? Have you heard of St. Louis cut bagels?
What?
Oh, it's when they cut them in half.
No,
and not through the
close to
middle.
it.
St. Louis cut.
It's not
St.
like
Louis.
scooped.
Here we go.
What the fuck?
Look at that long ways. Like,
It just
Like
looks
you're
like,
doing
it just
a
looks
loaf-
like, looks
Why,
like
though?
leftovers.
I just don't understand.
are they
So
trying to stretch bagels for people?
That's what it looks like.
I have no idea. That's weird.
So you just take one slice if that's in the
So
office
it's,
for.
it's basically bagel chips.
Well, it's
Yeah.
good
Before
for
you cook 'em.
like putting
Yeah.
the sour cream on and spreading it on.
So you're a fan.
No, not really.
It's a
But
hard
I don't.
pass.
I don't want my bagels pre-cut like
And
that.
how
If
would you
someone
toast
brings,
that shit.
you don't. If someone brings in bagels for the office, I'm taking a bagel and I'll cut it however the hell I want. Don't pre-cut my
Wow.
bagel.
Oh,
Wow.
and she's talking in the weird mouth voice that she does once in a while.
She's pretty serious about it.
Very serious. All right, Molly's got some passion.
I like that sound the slicer makes when they go through though, because whenever I get them for work, I'll always get them pre-cut.
Sure.
Zing, zing. I just love the sound.
All right. Well, we got some announcements. Hey, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, maybe you're interested in a career in real estate, email Roy at coldwellbanker.com. Wait, Coldwell Banker?
Home sale realty.
HomesaleRealty.com. I'm fucking it up for him. But you know what? Roy, give him a call, 414-235-0763. He'd love to be your go-to for all your real estate needs. And you can call Roy anywhere, and he will refer you. Dude partied with Mr. Miyagi,
Nice.
Pat Morita, all the
Oh,
time.
nice.
Talked at his funeral. If you can't
Wow.
trust Mr. Miyagi on your real estate guy, who are you going to trust?
You hear that, Johnny Reyes? Call
Yep.
that guy.
Call
Talk to him about
Roy.
it.
3 a.m. He loves it. He'll probably still be up.
I am aggro about my bagels because don't mess with my bagels.
All
She's
right.
real serious about what we heard.
Are you Jewish?
Kind of look Jewish.
I'm very German.
Yeah,
Okay. It's close.
absolutely.
That's close enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Same
little bit
thing, right?
Irish.
Same thing. They never fight. All right.
Never.
Hey, check out the Pop Culture Podcast. Chris House and I are doing that. We got plenty of interviews all loaded up for you. Famous people all up and down. I don't even know how to promote that. It's cool. Twisted Dreams Film Festival, Wisconsin's largest now genre film festival,
Yeah.
is going on from June 4th until 10 days later. Molly is an assistant director there.
So are you.
Nice. Well done.
Woo! Oh yeah, me too. I'll take that. That's for both of us. We're going to be doing the Big Laugh Comedy Network coming up here, season 3, launching the week of January 11th. It's going to be
Nice.
bigger, better, more graphic-ier, all around amazing. Check it out. Michael, you've been working with the Guffs.
Yeah, we been doing a weekly podcast with different members of the Guffs, talking about their history, album history, songs, things like that. And one of the things Steve and I've been talking about is doing something with Pet Engine. See if I say that right?
You're doing
As well.
great.
Which is part of Steve's appearance today. So that is put out weekly, and we just put out an episode on Collide on Friday. So that's going well, and we're getting close to wrapping that up.
Yeah, if you're a Gus fan, I mean, I've listened to a couple of them, and even, I mean, I'm great friends with those guys when we played many shows with them, but there's even stories that or certain situation that I was like unaware
Yeah.
of. So it is pretty fascinating if you're
It's
a fan
been
of
fun.
them. Yeah, they're fun guys. They're really good dudes.
Excellent. Now we got Mama Missy is in the house. She's going to be telling us a little bit about what she does before we get on with this interview with Steve. What's up, Mama Missy?
Hi. I'm coming to talk about Life Uncensored with Mommy Missy, where a new show / podcast really haven't figured out where.
Good. Good.
Jumping the
Let's
gun.
let's
That
start
was
that.
payback.
Let's start that over
Payback.
without Tom's weird audio.
That was payback for me fixing the mic.
Yeah.
I'm Mommy Missy with we're Life Uncensored with Mommy Missy. We're a podcast / show. Really don't know where we're gonna fit into yet, about moms and things that are relevant in our life. We are on every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Right now we are with Let's Talk. Lovely Elaine, she is joining us. We are looking for another co-host for when Elaine can't make it, or
There you
when
go,
she's
William.
doing something else. But we would like it to preferably be female related
Michael.
with moms. I think that moms are really not
Again.
I'm livening it up.
are not represented the way that they should be. We have a few bloggers and a few internet personalities that are really now starting to come out, but then there are some things that we just lack support as and we are also doing small businesses. Every show we try and bring on one small business that we can talk about your product and share it to as many people as we can, because it's really becoming hard right now for just normal big business stores, big box stores, let alone the small mom and pop or just mommy stores, to stay afloat.
Hashtag Small Business Saturday.
Hashtag
Yeah.
Small Business Saturday. All right, Missy, I got one thing
Which-
for you to help
Okay.
us with the Mama Missy stuff. Now,
Yeah.
all right, is this something that mothers should do? Want to get into this here? All right, here is a mother who is teaching
I
their
saw that last
child about
This
C-sections.
is the fibrous fascia.
He's a 4-year-old boy on his birthday.
I'm just thinking about the amount of
Now
work
here's the rectus muscle.
that went into doing all this, just setting it up.
I don't know. My husband should be watching this too.
So we're just separating the muscle. Okay, go ahead. Separate it to the
Kind of looks
side.
like a horrific Mr. Potato Head.
There's a lot of work and effort that
So
went
this is going to be our bladder blade.
All the layers and the plastic underneath. And
the bladder
Keep it
plane.
here to protect the bladder, which is under here.
That's the offensive lineman of a C-section.
I mean,
Underrated. Yeah, they hold the line of scrimmage on the C-section.
She's getting his hands in there to help.
Here's the uterus. We're going
Ooh,
to cut through the uterus.
look at the Fisher Price knife.
A lot of molding.
So
If he pulls a little baby
that's
head
the
out,
amniotic fluid, which is inside the amniotic sac.
wow.
Yep, that.
Look at the scissor work. Sound effects.
Yeah.
Save that
You
to
see
prank your
baby?
buddy later.
Do you think we can get him out?
oh, she put his hand
Pull that
in.
little baby out.
She's been putting his hands in there.
He's
so
got a Spider-Man costume on too.
we
Look
just
at
gotta
that.
speed it up.
Spider-Man.
Oh my goodness.
Look at this. He's got the webs on
It's
his
coming
sleeves.
out.
He'd have no
Yeah,
problem.
wait till you see the baby.
Okay, we have a head.
Bullet, get it.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, all right.
It's a Spider-Man.
Oh wait, it's not done though. It's
Yep.
not done though,
Gotta cut
because
the
I've
cord.
seen this.
There you go. That's Spider-Man's
Clamp it.
origin story.
Yeah.
This is why you never
Tell him
let a
to clamp it.
4-year-old do a C-section.
Wait, there's more though.
So
There's
here's the
more.
baby. Congratulations.
Oh my
So
god.
we'll put baby up. Baby's so cute. We have to deliver the placenta next.
So baby
Oh
Yoda
my
would have been
goodness.
much better, Ron, except the ears
gotta
would have
watch
been difficult.
Here comes the placenta.
There we go. There's the placenta.
Did you hear it squeak?
It goes,
There we go. There's the placenta.
It's where the dog comes up and grabs it.
He runs away.
I like the added in like applause.
Yeah.
And then
Oh.
the music too, the little guitar player.
Yeah.
Have you ever been present for a C-section?
I have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been there twice.
Yeah.
3 times. No, I'm sorry, 3 times.
Is that accurate?
What?
For
Yes.
your own or for
I
someone
didn't,
else's?
I didn't
Oh, no,
watch.
for my own.
Take your
Okay.
child to work day. Is that accurate?
Where's the? Because you need
So-
the most important person in that room besides the mom is the anesthesiologist. They should be.
Yeah.
That should be part of.
They
that.
should come to every
Where the
party
mom-
we have.
So they should drug the Play-Doh first, is what you're saying.
Or just hook the mom up as she's doing this.
I just the amount of time
Well-
to do all the layers with the plastic and the Play-Doh and the.
Is that a little nuts for children? There, Mama Missy.
For that age, yes. I think
4.
maybe I would do it.
I think that was a
my-
birthday present.
I would have done it with more of my 11-year-old, where he's starting to get to know about bodies and they're changing, and he's noticing girls. He's got there's a certain tutor that he has that he's kind of giving this like different voice to, almost flirtatious.
Ooh.
Okay.
So
So he's a teacher in Europe.
Yeah.
So I need to that would be the age. Would I do it at 4?
No. Okay.
Would I do it at even my twins that are 7? No, they don't notice that. They just realize that
Well, he's playing with Play-Doh. It's fun.
they
I
don't
think-
understand
Wants
why
to
their
know where
cousin Julian
babies
can't
come
stand up and
from.
pee.
Well,
Yeah, it's important, I think, to wait till they're teenagers. So, like my mom, because she had one C-section, and my brother was born in '67, so every child had to be a C-section after that. So she had like very intense.
Why don't they
scarring.
just install
Yeah.
a
Like now
zipper?
it's very discreet and they do it the different way. My mom would just be
Zipper.
like, "Remember those scars that you saw?" Like
Well,
that was like whenever we were
My
screwing around.
two-piece body is gone.
Basically, it was just like, "Shut the fuck up,
I did in
clean your
vitro.
fucking room," because I had to like birth you. Basically,
This is you.
I did in
Exactly right.
vitro, and for my 11-year-olds and my 7-year-olds, and I kept the needle because it's this long and it's the size of a lead tip pencil that I used to have to take shots
Whoosh.
with. And like when they are misbehaving, I'm waiting for when they're really big
Oh, yeah.
teenagers to be like, "Look what I had to do for you
Yeah.
for 6 months."
It really hits home, especially.
But
when-
My first one, I was in active labor for 4 days, and then they finally said,
Like
"Do
a
you wanna-
woman, you just can't
you want to
decide what you're gonna do.
I was like, they were like, "Do you want a C-section?" I'm like, "Giving me the scalpel, I'm doing it myself."
Are you
now."
gonna have a baby? I don't know.
What do you want to do?
What do you want to do? What are you hungry for? I don't want to have the
You
baby
guys are
yet.
so lucky you're on the other side of the room right now.
Aw.
That's why we're saying it.
Do you want to have a baby? I don't
We can still throw things at you. I could hit one
Well,
of you.
and
Where's
he's gotta
that
go
globe?
home with you. You notice my
I
husband
haven't
is
said anything.
super
Please don't hit me.
really quiet.
We're good. All right. Check out Life Uncensored or Life.
Life,
Like-
it's right now we're doing Let's Talk because it's 2 show combined in one. But
Okay.
starting January, it will be Life Uncensored with Mommy Missy.
All right.
That sounds
Thanks.
great.
Thanks for coming in,
Yeah.
Missy. All right. Woo! All right, Steve. Here we go. We did that drums. We did not take that
Right.
drums. We did those. That was
Sounds
me.
just like Phil Collins.
No.
That's crazy.
People say I drum like him.
Are
It
you a
was
drummer?
actually a monkey that did that.
Only for that. So,
Nice.
all right, you're a fellow UWM alumni.
That's correct.
There is, UWM is one of the schools that has the least cheating of all time
The least cheating of all time. I didn't think
because
about
the only people to cheat off of are people dumb enough to go to UWM.
that. Right, exactly. I used to when I was
That
waiting
was my
tables.
UWM joke.
When I was waiting tables or bartending, I would like walk up to the table and I'd find out, yeah, I'm gonna go to UWM. Like the kid would be. I was like, this is what a degree gets you.
This is it right here at
Right, baby.
UWM.
In the flag.
Oh, you didn't make Madison. Come on in.
I got
Have fun.
accepted.
I
to
went to
Madison.
UWM.
No, I
Yeah,
just
me too.
I got accepted to Madison. I'm so fucking happy I didn't go because I would have died. Like
Yeah.
UWM, there was so little campus life, and this was like the early '90s when I went there. There was like you had to kind of look for trouble and parties and stuff. Every time I go up to Madison, I was just like, I would like woke up like having the
Somewhere.
first 10 minutes figuring out where the hell I was, and I had some friends who like went there for a semester and came back because all the temptations when Manitowoc they were hard to find as well too. They got up there and just lose their mind or whatever. So UWM was a good place for me because it like
Wasn't in your face.
it wasn't walking down State Street and just like being able to,
All right. I know you must be a very loyal guy because on your Facebook for your website, it still has a MySpace page linked to it.
yeah, I don't know.
So you are loyal as hell.
You know when
Still a thing?
It is.
I don't even know.
I
looking
logged
it up.
in several years ago to my old account.
We
It's
used to have a
still there.
website, but our bass player, like when he stopped playing, when we basically kind of shut that down, he's like IT guy as well too. He let everything just lapse or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like petengine.com is like a pet supply thing. And
Yeah, when I looked you up, I had a lot of pet supply
did you
stuff.
see that Ashton Kutcher just so strange because like
so it's the cover shot for your Facebook page, right?
yeah, so like every once in a while as the internet was like expanding, the more people were like loading more stuff, I would just do an occasional search on my name or on Pet Engine, and and all of a sudden out of the blue this Ashton Kutcher, it was from an animated show. It was like one of those little cut commercials that was in, I don't know what show it was, but he's like doing this thing and it's like this, you have to see it, but it was just so weird to hear Ashton Kutcher saying my band's name like with like I was like, what the fuck is this? If you I don't know, can they show it up on there?
What do we look on your Facebook? I can
If
try
you
to
look up, put up Pet Engine.
Yeah, this one right here.
Yeah, look up Pet Engine Ashton Kutcher.
Okay,
It'll come up. It is, and it's short. You can watch the whole thing. Just imagine you have like
Pet Engine cooking bag.
yeah, it is so strange. Like out of the blue, I had no idea.
You find it?
Yeah. Did I not do the audio?
It's oh, you gotta rewind it once. You can tell I'm from Manitowoc.
Don't worry, keep
You gotta
talking.
rewind it
I'll get
once.
it. I didn't hit the right audio, so
Give me once.
Yeah. No, I went to UWM, have a degree in journalism that I used briefly while I was in college, and then wrote for a couple newspapers, just doing entertainment writing for a couple of years. But the band, I wasn't able to really apply myself to school. A, B, because we were, playing all over the Midwest and stuff at the time. So, and then I wasn't doing any of the networking and stuff. And then like journalism at the time, this is sort of pre-internet, basically. Like there was like, I'd go into these classes and they were all taught by professors or by working journalists, which was great because you had all these people who were in the business, but it just showed you how, because they needed the extra cash, because it was like the jobs at that point, it was like, you want to make $17,000 a year and go cover crime scenes, like, and board meetings all over and then maybe 30 years from now you get to be the food critic or something like that. I was just like, well,
not worth it.
No, and music was keeping. I did interview.
You weren't Pet Engine first,
huh?
You weren't Pet Engine first.
We were Blackfish first.
Yeah.
And then there was a band from Florida that we were getting big around here, but they had a record deal, and we were like, oh, we are gonna, because we could prove that we had it first. So we were counting the money already. We're like, we're going to take this Universal Records, and not realizing that they had lawyers and we had no lawyers, and no money to hire lawyers. They were like, sue us. And then we just said, I guess we'll change the band. But I interviewed Billy Corgan once, and it was, so we used to, Jeff Castells, right? Mm-hmm. So he was, now he went on to be like the president of Capitol Records and owned a label out in LA. We basically would when there were bands coming to town, we would review every record for like the opening bands and all this crazy stuff. So when I tell people this story, like especially kids who are like Pearl Jam fans, it was the Red Hot Chili Peppers headlining, the Smashing Pumpkins played before them, and then Pearl Jam, who their record 10 had been out for like 4 months and no one really knew who they were. So I interviewed Billy Corgan, did this phone interview with them, and I was like, I mean, full disclosure, it was like on the record. We were doing an interview in my shitty apartment on the East Side, and he was just doing the tortured artist thing, which I loved too. But I was like, he's like, I'm like, what were you doing before you got signed? And he's like, I was, working in a used record store and like masturbating a lot. And I was like, I'm like, first, like, I was like, let me highlight that.
It's a mirror.
Which is right. But I was just like, why would you say that to me?
Yeah.
We're doing a fucking interview. So I put
maybe it was like a lot where he just had to say how much, like,
exactly.
Well, seriously, it was
I think he got the calluses on his hands. It wasn't from playing
exactly.
guitar.
I got no problem with it. It was just like, well, then he got pissed at me because they came and played the show and we were hanging out with them. He's like Lurch. He's like 6'7", the long hair and the jacket. I mean, great band. Don't get me wrong, I love Special Olympics, but he I was like excited to meet him, and he was like didn't like take swings or anything like that, but he was like angry with me. And I was just like, why would you say that during an interview if you didn't want me? Because then my editor, Jeff,
you didn't say
that,
off the record.
No, and that was, of course, that was the pop quote in the corner as well too. He was just like, whatever. It was one of those chalk it up to experience sort of situations. But
Billy Corgan has been masturbating a lot. Go with that headline.
Doesn't surprise me.
Exactly.
So at this time, where does Pet Engine fall into Milwaukee music scene?
we were sort of the I had moved down from Manitowoc with guys that I knew from my hometown, and that those lineups changed a little bit. Like our guitar player, he was a student at UWM in the guitar program, and now he teaches over there and stuff. So we sort of like little by little kind of shaped the group, and I don't know, we were doing well. I mean, I had started playing music late in life. I wasn't from a musical family. I didn't have a guitar. I've never had a guitar lesson. So I was like, when I learned, I think it was to woo a girl or something like that. I learned how to play guitar, and then I learned 3 chords, and I started writing music. So I don't know why I did that, but while everyone else was trying to be Eddie Van Halen shit, I was like trying to be Elvis Costello and Paul McCartney or whatever. So because I developed that skill, it really, like, not a lot of people can do that, which, I mean, it's not easy for me. It's easier for me now, but I just assumed that everyone wrote songs. But so when I got to Milwaukee and then turned into Pet Engine, Al joined the group, and then Micah, or Clem was first, then Al, then Micah kind of came on. And I got to play with amazing musicians because I had a specific skill set. Not a great singer, decent guitar player, but for whatever reason, I mean, it's taken a lot of therapy and many years for me to say this, but I'm a great songwriter. You have to write a lot of really bad songs first and some really mediocre ones, and you're doing it in public, so it's just kind of get a bad review or something when you're young, you just take it personally or whatever. But it's something I love to do. It's something I need to do. I was like the artsy Smiths fan growing up in like redneck Hesher, Manitowoc in 1987. The dudes hated us. Like, we were from another fucking planet, but the girls liked us, and that pissed them off because they were like calling us faggot already, and then like we're dating the cutest girls in town, and they just made their heads explode. So, but part of, I think, that experience being like, this is what some of the fuel that I used to write songs and sort of,
But it was a very interesting time. You look at being at the right time and right place. Look at Milwaukee in the early 90s, mid 90s. I mean, you had Bodines and the Femmes, which were kind of the forefathers of all Milwaukee music. And
Absolutely.
The Femmes were very huge. Bodines were very popular. Mm-hmm. There was this changing in the guard kind of going at the time. And you look at the top 3, which were the Guffs, Pet Engine, and Citizen King was kind of later to the game, but still part of it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, very cool musically time in Milwaukee.
Yeah. I mean, we sort of came into the scene at first because we were the new kids on the block. There was some resistance from other bands because we were organized. My brother is now, I mean, that's what he does for a living. He's one of the biggest booking agents and management people in the country. He's one of the executives at Summerfest. So he was really he was learning his craft while I was learning my craft. So we were getting like lots of articles because we just had our shit together. So we got a lot of attention, and just basically trying to keep up with the exposure, and we're getting major labels interested because some of the people we were working with. But Wild Kingdom, so Citizen King was actually, they were Wild Kingdom, and they were the biggest local band ever. I mean, the Gus probably, but they were just like this kind of like Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, but like with antics. They'd like at Thanksgiving show, they'd throw like mashed potatoes and and stuff. But they morphed into Citizen King. So we were the second tier. It was the Guffs and Citizen King, basically major label deals, and we were doing demo deals for major labels, and we're signed to an independent label. And but we were like at the perfect level because we got to open for everyone. So like when Oasis fired their the band that they were touring with, we were in that genre. I mean, because we're heavily influenced by like post-punk, like the Replacements and Soul Asylum, a lot of that early alternative, but then a lot of British music as well too, like, I mean, Beatles, but then like I'm trying to like the Smiths and things like that. So there was a lot of we fit in with a lot of different styles because we were like influenced from a lot of different areas. We weren't very genre specific either. So that was kind of our niche. We got all these great opening spots, and we had to do so many amazing things. I mean, but the problem, like anything, is like the more you achieve, you want to be the rock star. And I learned that there were a lot of people who wanted that job as well too. Like everyone on the fucking planet wanted to be the rock star. So, I mean, it was frustrating when things didn't, eventually didn't turn out to be this massive thing. But I look back and I'm like, just so many cool experiences. And the Milwaukee music scene, like I said, the Femmes and the Bodines. I mean, I got to like hang out with those guys and like work with them, like do some recording with them and party with those guys. And being accepted into that group was like, I remember the first time I like partied with the Femmes, I came home and I was just like, was like freaking out. I was like, "This is my Fem's weed. He didn't get me started." But then being contemporaries with them, and it's like anything. I mean, there's younger bands like Brett Newski or something. He was not familiar with us. I'm not bringing. Hey Brett, hey Gordon. No, but I mean, like there's a certain groups. They were so big that we were obviously fans of them, and it was so cool. I did embarrass myself. Like,
let's hear it.
I've got plenty of good embarrassing stories.
All right, I want them all.
So there's a recording studio, and I'll try to be as concise as possible. There's a recording studio in Shorewood where the Femmes and Talking Heads did recording. It's right just south of Capitol, right in Shorewood. And when Jerry Harrison, he was slowly becoming this huge producer. And Verpipe produced the Verpipe eventually, actually, but he was doing the first live record, the one with like "Give It Up," whatever, their debut record. They were recording in Shorewood. We were opening for the Femmes at like Maritime Days or something, and so they were on the side of the stage watching us play. Like I don't even remember. It was just so early on. We got this gig. It was incredible, but I was like wasted after. I mean, just shit faced completely. And it gave me a lot of confidence at the time. So Jerry Harrison had eaten lunch with David Byrne from the Talking Heads at this restaurant where I was cooking, and they commented that the quiche was too salty. And I was like, so I'm like, I see Jerry Harrison, who is like he's not like I don't want to say charming. Everyone likes him who knows him well. He's just not like a chummy sort of person. So I see him and I'm just wasted, and I'm thinking about this quiche, and I come walking up to him, and he looks at me like. I was like, you came in the fucking restaurant where I worked, and the quiche wasn't too salty. It had feta cheese in it. And he looked at me for a second, and he just turned and just walked away. He was like, I don't want to engage with this guy, but I was just like, and my brother and everyone else was like watching me, just like, holy shit. So I've learned.
Is it worth arguing about quiche that could end in a fist fight?
It's just, I was
in my career.
I was born with low self-confidence and everything. It was one of those moments where I was like,
you finally felt confident. You flew too close to the sun. Picking a fight over quiche.
You gotta get the unsalted feta.
Exactly right. Some
God, if I'd known that back then.
Yeah, some non-sheep's milk or something. But yeah, I mean those days are like just they used to have free tap beer like at like backstage at Summerfest. I mean, when you're in a band like that, I mean. When I used to come down to Summerfest to see shows when I was in high school, if you were on stage at Summerfest, you're a fucking rock star, right? Not realizing that the majority of those people are working day jobs. And so, I mean, like when we would you play shows as a band, like we would play a college campus and have like a hotel room and food and all this stuff. And then the next show is like in a club with like a dressing room that's just completely disgusting and like one free beer ticket or something like that. So there's a huge dichotomy of those experiences. But I mean, you learn a lot. I mean, you got to remember people telling me when I was starting off there, it's like, you better love music and I was like, yeah. I'm young. I'm indestructible. But you got to like really, really, I mean, just really, it's the good times are great when you're playing and like people are singing back and you're, meeting people and traveling and stuff like that. But the amount of work that goes into it, it's just so much fucking work. Just constantly. It keeps you like, I'm not sure if I would have moved somewhere else, like when I was, before we settled down and stuff like that. But I mean, that always kept me here because I was pursuing this. I mean, it was basically like dangling the carrot in front of me all the way through my 20s and 30s. Like it would have been easier if I would have sucked because I would have just given up. But because we kept like going up and getting like, recognition from labels and, there was always that. It's just such a,
blue balls of fame.
Exactly. Blue balls of fame. Yeah, I guess. It was, I mean, it's just, and as you're the songwriter, I don't want to be the woe is me because if things go well, I get all the credit. But like when things were, at the end when everyone was sort of just like moving on with their lives and stuff like that. I mean, I internalized like, because it was my fault because I couldn't achieve the dream for everyone. So I internalized all of that on me and it was, but I mean, but great. It was really great.
So you do it all over again.
Well,
absolutely.
Let's talk about what you're doing now. So the project is the Crystal Gales, correct?
Yeah.
Got that.
Tell us a little about that. I know there was a cool story that you sent me.
Yeah. So there's an article online on Milwaukee. So are you listening to country music in the 90s? Probably. So Jessica Andrews.
Yeah.
I'm Rosemary's granddaughter. Okay. So
yes, I know that song.
Year 2000. You know what she's doing now? I do. But so
I do.
So I remember sitting in my house. We were playing with Wilco and Fountains of Wayne and she was playing at Summerfest that year, and I was like watching the video. It was like CMT was one of the. As a songwriter, I'm always fascinated by country music. Some people are like, oh, I hate it. I'm just like, I like to hear the craft of the song and stuff. So I'm watching that video, and I'm like, man, she's cute. I love the song. She's got a great voice. And like I remember in my tiny brain at the time, going like, I would love to work with someone like this. So I met her at Summerfest briefly that year. And then through the course of the years, I would always just check in to see what she was doing. She got dropped from her label. I assumed that she married this other country music guy, Marcel. I assumed because the way she was always presented in public was very together and like kind of brainy almost. So once I learned how to stalk people on Facebook, I would check in, and like one day, probably 3 years ago, I saw a post on her official page, and I figured out that was her. So I took a flyer and I was like, hey, I'm like, I met you once. I'm a musician. That I sort of gave my bona fide and sort of my credentials, so she didn't think I was just some sort of weird guy.
Didn't think it was me, right?
Exactly. So she responded. And we had this conversation. She's living right near Goran from the Guffs, actually. So Goran is still doing Guff stuff, writing songs. He writes so many freaking songs. It's hard to keep up with him sometimes. But I was trying to get her. I didn't realize what her situation was at this time because we hadn't spoken. We were messaging back and forth, and I was really trying to get her to work with Goran. And finally, I was just like, could you please do this? And then she, whatever. So one day I'm like, hey, how's it going? I just reconnected with her, and she's like, send me your phone number. So we have this 2-hour conversation. So it's just kind of weird to begin with because, I mean, she was a celebrity for like 3 years. I mean, the song is amazing. She's a great singer. And I was like on the phone like at 1 a.m. with this, and she is not anything. She has been unsupervised since like age 15. She got a record deal when she was age 15 from a small town in like Tennessee or North Carolina or something. So she's grown up in the entertainment business, and she is telling me the craziest fucking stories. Like I'm a journalist. I did interview people, so I'm asking questions, and so I'm like, tell me about this. And she's like, well, I was in the hotel room. It's my first, bisexual experience, and we were doing tons of coke. And I was just like, go on. Yeah. And then what happened? So she just tells me all this crazy stuff. And
Did you need a gay porn star in that?
Right, exactly. I'm just having a hard time processing that someone who I used to watch on television called me and is like telling me this stuff. And I'm trying to figure out if she's just ghosting. He's like, would that be ghosting or gaslighting? I don't know what that was.
Gaslighting.
Whatever. So she's
Catfishing.
in the article you were, so at the end of it, she's just telling me, and I'm just like, Jessica, I'm like, you have lived now. Like, I know you were never really a songwriter. I'm like, but you were 15 when you started. Like, you have all these experiences. You have to put this down into music. And she was messed up on drugs, and her life was completely in the toilet. She had like 3 miscarriages because she couldn't stop doing coke and stuff like that, which was like I learned in 2 hours. Like my world was just like, my mind was blown. I went up and told my wife, I'm like, by the way, I just got on the phone with Jesse. You remember Jesse? And I started telling her stuff, whatever. So I said, you got to write songs and put this down. She's like, well, you're the fucking songwriter. Why don't you do it for me? So then I started writing songs like with her in mind. And it was great for me as a songwriter and a great exercise almost, because I had always like not intentionally written songs about myself. I mean, they were never super specific. I was trying to make them so everyone can, be into them or whatever. But I was writing, like taking some of these ideas from the story and just extrapolating outwards a little bit and putting in details and stuff. And then I got Goran involved because Goran's writing all this country music, and he's like, how are you talking to her? Like, I want her to sing my songs. And I was like actively trying her. I was sending her Goran songs, and Goran was he's a singer from the Guffs. If we didn't bring
His fingers have been in my mouth.
Have they really? Oh yeah, me too. Many times. So he
outside of the office.
Yeah.
Right? So he, I was like, here, I got this idea for one of the songs. I drove down to Chicago. We tried to write this song together, and we hit a brick wall with it. And I was like, so I'm going to go home and I keep working on this song. And I'm like trying to write pop country, which I listened to enough of it. And I, played enough Americana where I'm in that mindset. And I keep sending him versions of the song. And he's just like, as a friend, he's like, that ain't country. And I'm like,
that ain't no country.
Oh, hang on. The last one, I finally got it. And I was like, is this going to be it? And he's just like, that ain't not country or something like that. He used a double negative. And I was like, so I went to the piano, and that's when I wrote the chorus. The song is actually called Double Negatives. But that was, and I was like, oh, my Northwestern trained dentist scholar friend is now using double negatives because he's down there. But then once I got, that was the chorus. And when you hear the song, it's actually one of the best songs, I think. I mean, maybe the best song I've ever written, because I wrote it for like a month and I really honed in on all these different things. And he was hugely helpful, like unintentionally. He didn't know, because I was like, it was almost like a challenge to like prove that I could actually do this. So he still doesn't think it's country, but he likes the song. But yeah. So I mean, so then I sent it to her, and like I'm trying to get her. She has since gotten herself together enough where she has a child, and things seem to be going better in her life, and she'll reach out to me. But it's like her favorite song. I really want her to record it, but like every like couple months she'll like post on Facebook where she's listening to it, because she really identifies some of the details or some of the things from the stories that she told me. But I really want her story to be that she makes this comeback with like my songs and Goran songs, and we're like because it got weird though, because like she would call me at 2 a.m. on a random, out of the blue. I was like this person who was good to talk to, I guess, and I wasn't in her world, because if you know country, like no one in Nashville knows that they've either let her alone or they haven't investigated it, because her life is crazy. Like some of the shit that she was like telling me, sending me pictures of like drugs that she was doing, and like some of these stories were like I couldn't quite fathom how bad it had gotten. At one point she texted me, or she called me, and she was like, a picture of her bank account. She had $5 in her bank account, and I'm like, don't you have a house? And because she still had the house from when she had all the money. She's like, yeah, I'm charging my phone on a generator in my house because the power was shut off. And I'm like, what is going, like I was still at that point, I was like, so at some point I was like trying to ask her trick questions to see if she was like some crazy, like who the fuck would like pretend to be Jessica Andrews and play this whole, and it is her.
It's a years-long charade.
Like 3 years now, because she'll just out of the blue, like she's in the studio now, and like they were recording songs on his phone and posting them on her website because I think they're broke. But I really want her, because the stuff that Goran writes is right up her. Like my stuff, it's a stretch because it's not quite.
Well, some of the newer stuff, especially.
Yeah.
You know? One Drink Away comes to mind. That's a new one he just put out.
There's so many though, dude. Yeah. Like if you had the whole list of all the songs he's written, like because we communicate on almost a daily basis. But I mean, there's a couple songs that, and like of course I wanted to do mine, but I would really, really super, super happy if I could get. And she wants to do them, she just can't. And so Goran goes all of these rights, and I'll get off this story in a second. He's heavily ensconced. He's in the songwriting world in Nashville now, so he does all these co-writes with people. So he finally, like at some point, he asked, he's like, "You guys know Jessica Andrews?" Because my buddy, and they're like, "Yeah, we gave up." And like they would schedule sessions, and she wouldn't show up and stuff like that. So she's sort of in this. So I'm hoping that someday I can come on this podcast and tell the story on how she
turned her life around, got back to the top.
I mean, I fucking tried to I was like, we're going driving down to Florida as a family. I was like, and I realized at that point, that trip, that she would make up. She doesn't want to meet me in person, which is, I mean, I understand that, but I'd be like, hey, we're going to be in town. And she was just like, oh, we're doing a show like in California. I was like, I would scour the internet, and there was like no show or whatever. So she's, and I
shows my fall in love, man.
But she did freak Goran's wife out though. So when I released the song, she was so happy, and she read the article. You guys can go online and check out. She was so happy that she got a box of all the promo stuff from the record label, and looked Goran up, and drove over to his house and filled his mailbox with Jessica Andrews like signed posters and a letter saying like thank you so much and stuff. And Goran was in Chicago, and I was like, she was like, hey, I was just over there like filling their mailbox up with all this Jessica Andrews stuff. And I was like, you did what? And then Goran's like, Heather just called. And I was like, oh my god, oh my god, they get this crazy woman, a celebrity singer, on their house in their neighborhood, like shoving like random shit in their mailbox as a thank you. And Goran's like, what is she? I'm like, I'm. And at one point he was like,
what'd you get me into, Steve?
Well, no. I mean, we're all happy about it, because I mean, like there is hopefully like a moment when because the voice is still there. Like I hear her sing, and she can still sing. She's just, I think she's bipolar or something. And Jessica, if you're listening, hi, how are you? But she embraces all of it though. Like when I've done articles where I've talked in more detail about her, like I kept her name like I'm anonymous at that point. And then she like when I posted, she's like, "That's me," and I'm like, okay. I mean, it's a different mindset, but I mean, she's a friend. I'm at this point, and she relies on me for stuff. It's just a strange. I think it's a lifetime movie or a mini series or something where like semi-retired Midwestern salt of the earth songwriter guy reaches out to this struggling country star. It's almost like
You're going to need a bigger mailbox.
That's the Jaws quote. We need a bigger mailbox.
Need a bigger boat. We do have a couple questions from our
Sure, we've just been blabbing away. Sorry.
our audience. Just Ron had asked if you miss Atomic Records.
Of course I do. No, I love going shop. I mean, I love record shopping once it's taken away from you. I mean, it's just where you meet people, other musicians, and get
The
recommendations.
barbershop of the music industry.
It's I don't know why that someone can come up with like a coffee shop business model where I mean, obviously without COVID or pandemic, or you could combine those things.
Poison mute.
Poison what?
Poison mute, we've been calling it.
Poison mute.
Because if you say COVID, Facebook flags.
Dude, you just said it again.
Said it again.
Could say poison.
We went from 8 to 6 already.
No, but I mean, it's such a great and the guys behind the counter like are usually musicians, or I was buying all the music for restaurants I was managing, so like they would give me recommendations for stuff. It was such a great place to go, and it's still it's not quite the same experience. Like I got way into vinyl again. So I've been rebuying all my favorite records from all time, on vinyl, and that just going into a record store like Bullseye, which is a friend of mine, the record store that he manages, is right next to Comic Cafe. But yeah, and it's that. I mean, it is like the times I've been in there, like everyone's talking and they're playing cool music, so you're asking what that is. I mean, I just miss. I do miss, especially in Atomic was just closest one to my house. Really, it's such a great place. So yes, I miss it.
Yeah, he says he loved Atomic. A lot of big acts came through and stopped there.
Yeah, we saw. I remember Teenage Fan Club. Well, I'm a huge fan. Scottish band. They were actually on Saturday Night Live, which is weird because they were their record was the Critics' Choice of 1993 maybe. But we saw them play there and then took them over to MSOE. We had a show that I would sit in on sometimes on MSOE and did an interview with them as well. So,
Any other questions there, Mo?
Well, Patrick was asking about your Olympic medals that you're wearing, and I told him I thought it was a clock or a watch.
Yeah. No, it's actually the same brand of clock that Flava Flav wears. It's a shower clock. I bought it at an estate sale in Bayside from this lovely old
You can
Jewish
swim
woman.
with it.
So I said, I think it's a
Exactly.
clock. He said, oh, like Flavor Flav. You should tell him to get a gold chain for it. It'd look more baller.
Yeah,
No, it's not a ribbon. His ribbon is on his key.
The ribbon's on the keys.
it's the
Yeah.
emo version
So it's a
well,
silver
I want to
chain.
be I remember Dan from the Cuffs was like, "What the fuck you wearing?" I was just like, I'm like, I want to be. It's like they'll be like, the guy who wears the clock around his neck, and they'll be like, "You mean Flavor Flav?" No, the other. No, but I was telling them outside, so I got this clock. I wore it to a block party. I mean, it's just a fun conversation piece. My wife,
Yeah.
as we were leaving to go to this block party with all the families, she's like, "Are you gonna wear?" She's like, "Just okay." She's just used to me. So I wear the clock. We have a blast with it. And then I go to buy cat food later that night at Walgreens, and I forgot that it's on. And this lovely African American woman behind the counter was checking me out. She just kept. I forgot that it was on. She kept looking at me like. I'm like, what is she looking at? And she's like, you could just tell she wanted to say something, but didn't know what the fuck to say to me in that situation. And I left the store, and I'm like, oh, I still got the
She never said anything?
No, but when we were at Turner Hall, we were doing a Pablo show with a bunch of other local bands. There was this African American woman who was managing she was running the elevator, and I was like, she's like, I love that clock, and I was like, I wasn't sure if I could get away with it. She's like, you go. He goes, you wear that clock. Don't worry about it. I'm like, anyone messes with you, come talk to me. I was like, okay, thanks. Yeah, I'm just bringing people together with a clock. Jewelry,
wonderful.
So, yeah. I said I spent 50 cents on this, so I spent 50 cents to look like Flavor Flav.
Does it tell accurate time?
It is broken currently.
Oh,
The battery works, but these things are jiggling around.
Yeah, when I saw it wiggling, I thought it was a compass. I was like, all
It's-
right.
it made Salvador Dali clock,
That's how we got here. He followed.
It's my pacemaker.
Courage. Well, all right, Stephen. I think that's all the time we got for right now. You want to stick around for the bonus episode?
I do. I will run to the bathroom and
No problem.
I have a thumb ring that I need to put up.
Aw,
Can we
well,
do-
you brought some instruments. Are you going to play at all in the bonus?
Maybe.
I'm going to
Maybe.
come back another day.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
hoping this is my job interview because I do want to come back and either as a Pet Engine person or as like a guest.
He said he'd play if he had fun, so he brought his instruments and he'll play
I'm
next
just,
time.
you know,
He just wants to get out of here.
see, no, if Goran was here, I mean, like I said, I'm a great
Oh.
songwriter. I'm an average vocalist, and like these situations, like it's not meant for me. Like if you're a pet end, like I could play him 20 songs and he'd be like,
Could you
But-
play that song that you wrote for her?
I could play it. Yeah, I think so. Let me see it how my guitar sounds. But
We take a quick break.
You don't have to do
Yeah,
it live.
I would love
Yeah,
to hear
we'll
that.
do
yeah,
that.
sure.
We'll do
I
that.
think it's in a flexible.
Everybody, you know where to find us. Off the rails tm@gmail.com. Give us some emails. Go check out our new website. We're going to be working with Corey Shoka to do it. Mama Missy, remember to check her out. Where can we find you?
www.facebook.com/Mommy Missy.
Mommy Missy.
I would
Sorry,
like to thank all of you for having me up here and look forward to maybe doing this again sometime or watching yours. I know my wife and a bunch of her friends. My wife comes to me. I've been watching like way into podcasts for like the last year and a half. And she's like,
There we go.
we're doing this podcast night where they all like listen to like an author or something, but it's a podcast. And I'm just like, I've been asking you to listen to podcasts for like the last year and a half, and you just blow me off, whatever. But they get together.
Gotta find the right one.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to actually mention that to
Maybe I'll
them.
have, you and I can talk. I can have your wife on.
Well, I was the stay-at-home
Okay.
dad, so you might
Well-
want to. I changed more diapers than
All
she
right.
did, probably.
Maybe I'll have you on too. And
Exactly. I'll be
There you
the
go.
the
The dad.
metrosexual like edition. Talk to confused gay Steve over here.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break, hit the bathroom, see if we can't straighten him out about his confusion. Remember, universe, we're not good enough.
Thanks for tuning in, universe.